Welcome back to Saturday Morning Glory, the show where I look at memorable moments in animation history. And remember, if you're not watching this on Saturday morning, that's cheating. In this installment, I'll be looking at an episode of Spider-Man, by which I mean the animated series that ran on Fox Kids back in the mid-90s. Actually, this particular episode might be the worst of the series, and maybe even the worst moment in Spider-Man history. Until 2 months ago, anyway. Some of you may recall that a while back I did a written recap of another awful episode, The Spot, and despite only talking about the bad episodes, I really do like this show. Spider-Man was a rare Saturday morning cartoon with open-ended episodes and ongoing season story arcs with satisfying conclusions. Which is the main reason Rocket Racer sucks. It has nothing to do with anything that came before or after. The show had already given us great episodes with classic villains like the Kingpin, Dr. Octopus, and Venom, and the episode right before this one introduced Spidey's most iconic enemy, the Green Goblin. So it should only follow that now we get a story about a guy with the superpowered skateboard. Rocket Racer first appeared in the pages of The Amazing Spider-Man in the late 70s, a dark time for Spider-Man fans. He started out as a really lame bad guy who used his scientific abilities and a rocket-powered skateboard to turn to a life of crime to support his family. Eventually, he reformed and became a really lame good guy, helping Spider-Man defeat an even dopier villain called the Big Wheel. Now, just as a ballpark figure, I would guess around 0 viewers wanted to see either Rocket Racer or Big Wheel on the show. So here they both are. Excited? The episode begins as usual with our theme song, an ode to Spider-Man performed in the style of bad Euro trash disco. You know, that song sounds really familiar. Where have I heard it before?
Electronic, supersonic, supersonic, electronic.
To kick things off, we get a carryover from the previous episode where Spider-Man and Felicia Hardy come to terms with their budding romance.
This isn't going to work. Spider-Man can't have a girlfriend.
Well, yeah, that would totally ruin his image. What would the gay fans think? But the moment ends when a giant roulette wheel begins wrecking the city and breaking into banks.
Accurate timing is a thing of beauty.
Which is why we're now watching a lame standalone episode just after the season's big arc finally started to heat up. The irony is tangible. Also, I'm pretty sure reusing footage is a thing of beauty because we see the same guy fly into the bank like 6 times.
Felicia,
Duty calls? I understand. You should go. Be careful, Spider-Man.
Oh, don't worry, you'll be hooking up with one of his biggest arch enemies by the time the episode's over. Oh, spoiler alert.
I thought I'd seen everything, but this really takes the cake.
Yeah, freaky goblin guys on gliders, vampires, and turning into a giant spider creature. We're all dull as hell compared to a giant wheel. I want to hurt this writer so bad. Meanwhile, at a drugstore, we meet Robert, our future villain, who's getting medicine for his sick mom.
It's worth it.
Tell you what, I'll give you this one at my cost.
What, selling medicine at cost? Where do you think you are, Grandpa? Cuba? Thankfully, El Presidente is kind enough to lay some heavy exposition on us.
Can you believe it? That kid used to be in trouble all the time. Then his mama got sick. Now he's really trying to turn himself around.
So, does he just tell Robert's life story to everyone who walks in here? So much for patient confidentiality. I mean, I'm pretty sure that woman just came in for tampons, not to listen to some random kid's sob story.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Robert the Rocket Farrell, slashing up the sidewalks.
Yes, very amusing.
No way, he's too stoked to be stopped.
Okay, kind of getting annoying now.
Yeah,
Oh, for crap's sake, can we watch anything else, please?
For the grand finale, huh?
Oh, thank God.
Incredible! Long time no see, Farrell.
That's right, there's a giant wheel destroying most of Manhattan, and the cops are busting some kid for picking up stolen cash. Spidey's fight with the big wheel ends in a stalemate, and then we learn Robert's mom just happens to know Felicia.
You're right to call, Mrs. Farrell.
I can't thank you enough for coming with me, Miss Hardy.
Robert's mom is voiced by Thelma Hopkins, who is one half of Dawn, as in Tony Orlando in Dawn, the only group to make Pink Lady and Jeff look edgy and subversive.
Who's the black private dick that's a sex machine to all the chicks? Right on.
Oh, Robert.
Mama,
Baby, I was so worried about you. Miss Hardy kindly posted your bail.
I tried to tell them I didn't do anything, but they think I'm a thief. Maybe that's just what I ought to do. Then I'd show them.
I'm not sure the holding cell at a police station is the best place to plan your life of crime. The next day, Peter copes with letting the bad guys get away by going to the job he suddenly has as a science tutor.
Oh, hi, Felicia.
Oh, Felicia is the same Felicia he was with in the beginning. Now I get it. This is only 5 minutes into the episode. We are not goldfish.
Peter, something happened last night with Robert. We'll talk after you teach your class, and...
Excuse me, my dear fellow. I'm looking for Felicia Hardy.
That's the velvet purr of Mark Hamill. And there is absolutely no attempt to make him sound any different than the Hobgoblin, putting us all miles ahead of where this storyline will end up. Once again, thanks for the vote of confidence on our memories. Well, it turns out some of the Big Wheel's goons have themselves a little side business, namely a protection racket.
See, lady, all kinds of things can happen in this world.
Whoa, check out the snake tats in the guy's arms. I totally know who this is.
All right, time for a crime spree.
Robert follows the bad guys to their secret villain lair where the Big Wheel himself is nice enough to give us his entire backstory for no reason.
The credo I live by as a master thief is the same one I believed in when I was an aeronautical engineer. Timing is everything.
While this is going on, Robert steals some of their stuff and takes it home and begins sewing together his supervillain costume.
Hi, Mama.
Oh, Robert, I am so glad to see you working on your project again.
Worst mother ever. Although, to be fair, I think she's just happy she didn't walk in on him masturbating. And now, the moment nobody was waiting for, the rocket racer makes his debut.
Great! The gyros, the magnetic wheels, and boot clamps. They all really work.
I'll just let Spider-Man himself handle this one.
This is starting to sound like a bad comic book plot.
And for the record, the episode is now more than half over and we're just now getting our first look at the one-shot villain. Learn to pace yourselves, guys.
See, Mama? I do know what I'm doing. And this stuff is gonna make all our problems go away. Hey, wait a minute. What am I thinking? This is really whack, man. It's wrong.
Yes, it is indeed whack. And I think we have a clip of the guys who wrote this script.
Straight out of Cape Cod, we're keeping it real. We're gonna have a part, it makes a lady squeal.
And yes, Rocket Racer's change of heart really does happen that fast. Maybe if you'd gotten to this plot point a bit sooner, you would have had time for natural character development. Spider-Man hears about the break-in on TV and immediately thinks the thief is connected to the Big Wheel. Mid-90s CGI. It just looks so cute now, doesn't it? Thanks to his own incompetence, the rocket racer ends up stuck on the bottom of a freight elevator. But Spider-Man saves the day by bravely pushing a button.
I never realized this finger was so powerful.
That's what she said. Eventually, Spider-Man tracks Rocket Racer down at home and gives him a stern talking to.
You don't come to this neighborhood. See, I didn't steal anything, but everyone thinks I did.
And what could possibly lead them to think that?
And this stuff is gonna make all our problems go away.
Oh, right, that. Unfortunately, that's when the Big Wheel shows up to take care of Robert before he can reveal where he got his technology.
It's that overgrown hula hoop again.
Boy, the writers must have thought long and hard about that joke. Not one other round thing came to mind.
That big Ferris wheel thing!
Yeah, that's the stuff. And so a big chase ensues, and true to the comics, Spidey and Rocket Racer put aside their differences and put their scientific minds together to come up with a plan, while locked in a tight embrace for some reason.
What we need. I bet the gyroscopes he uses are electrically driven. That's how they can be precisely timed. Good.
I didn't understand a word of that, but sounds like a plan to me. And predictably, the Big Wheel goes down in defeat.
Well, how do you like that? My smarts helped to get us out of that one. I guess it pays to know science stuff after all. And to use what you know responsibly.
Yeah, thanks for the lesson, guys, but I think if kids really wanted to learn something useful, they wouldn't be watching this episode. Despite the defeat, those goons come back to harass Robert and his mom one last time. And for all the keen-eyed viewers out there, see if you can spot the animation error in this scene. What? How? Who? Forget it. The episode's over.
I always did want to hang with the homeboys.
Who writes this crap?
We sail yachts and we ride on horses. Every meal we eat comes in multiple courses.
To wrap things up and make us think this episode had anything to do with the season's story arc, we get a scene where love blossoms between Felicia and Jason while creepy Spider-Man stalks them.
Oh well, I suppose it's all for the best. Sweet dreams, Felicia.
Tune in next week when Felicia takes out a restraining order. The characters are all pretty dull and one-dimensional here, and it doesn't help that they stuffed too much story into one episode. Robert is forced to go through half a season's worth of character development in just 20 minutes, making it impossible to care about him, especially since he never shows up again. Only the stuff with Felicia has any continuing effect on the show, and the fans who recognize Mark Hamill's voice know where it's going anyway.
Why are you here?
Can't you guess?
Jason!
Well, at least the show would recover quickly from this episode and would never quite sink to this level again. Almost.
What are you, some kind of masochist?
That's it for me. If anyone needs me, I'll be hanging with my homeboys and hopefully not smoking crack because crack is whack. See you next time on Saturday Morning Glory.
Hey baby, ride with me away. We doesn't have much time. My blue jeans is tight, so onto my love rocket climb. Inside tank of fuel is not fuel, but love. Above us, there is nothing above, but the stars above.
All systems go.